I like this quote. In general, expert trends analysis become introverted and narrow. It's one of my favorite Canadian authors, and sometimes results in false sophistication. And the complexity of our methodology lets us forget how naive our assumptions are. And what I had before were the naive assumptions, okay? But we are now bringing them down, measuring dose to 0.5%. This is just incredibly naive that will make a difference. So time is the essence of biology. Now I come to biology. If space is the final frontier of radiation therapy, then time is the ultimate frontier of radiotherapy. And people working with drugs know that, cancer evolution, when does a drug fail? That's the most important thing for them. For us, it's not. And the characteristics of a biological system, I'm going a little bit over the top, but not completely, I will assure you. First, if we are alive, the material structure for every biological system is there. These are proteins, and they maintain a process in time. And that is the functionality, this is growth, that is why we are alive. So we have a structure and we have a process. And we only look at the structure. And all biological systems are open. They need input and output. We have in our radiotherapy practice these organ color blobs completely isolated from the rest of the body. If this would be true, we don't need these organs. If they don't interact with us, they are completely useless. And so you need input, you need output, nutrients and waste. These are non-equilibrium systems with mass transfer, and there it starts. Mass is changing all the time, every second, and dose, unfortunately, is defined as energy absorbed by mass. So you could even question whether dose is defined for a living system. And I show you here an example. In a radiation, you will see a blast of double-strand breaks right now, and they repair within 35 hours. So in each cell, the DNA is constantly repaired. And where do you think the mass is coming from? What initiates the repairs, let's say a couple of days from now, is in your fridge today. Okay? So you haven't, dose accumulation obviously doesn't work. I think I make my point there. And I make it even more drastic. There's this rectum in every treatment planning system. The rectum is a color blob, okay? It's like this. What it really is something like that. We don't have anatomy in our treatment planning system. We don't have muscles, we don't have blood supply, nothing is there. But we discuss endpoints like rectal bleeding. And I don't know how it is with you, but I empty my bowel almost every day. So there's something going in and out, obviously. And even, through the walls of the rectum, this is the function why we have it. It's not a dead tube. It's basically electrolytes, are extracting nutrients and what is still valuable in there. So there's a complex biology taking place, but we are completely ignoring it. It's not there. We know about this, but we are so used to the color blob. So if we take the dose volume histogram seriously, 20 times 3 gray, more than 56% we change every day. Okay. So the dose for this 56%, we have to divide by a factor of 20 in order to give the right dose volume histogram for the rectum. And said, well, we are not interested in this. This is trivial. But even there, in the rectal wall, there's quite a bit, and I didn't put the number down because the literature is not so precise, but let's say in the order of 20% of the cells are renewed every 5 to 7 days. So I can assure you a dose volume histogram of the rectum has never been correct in any treatment planning system of the universe for any patient. Nevertheless, this surrogate seems to work in some ways. I have in my clinic 5 dose constraints for the rectum, and the clinicians are defending them with their souls. Okay? The question is, why does it work? And we don't know. I think we could gain something from that. And that is basically for every cancer, for lung, for liver, for tumors. I think we have this Mickey Mouse anatomy in our patients and no real biology. And the question is, what could we gain? If patients have a fast metabolism, obviously the dose delivered will be quite different from when a patient has a slow metabolism. The dose we deliver is only to dead things. Images are dead, they are not alive. Even if you see this mechanical movement of a tumor, this is more an artifact, but the real biological processes we are never considering. Images are not alive, phantoms are not alive. The only thing which is alive is the patient in our... Good. So the 1 millimeter accuracy to 1% dose paradigm is a dead horse, I believe. So what do we do with this? Do I still have time? Brandon, you have to stop me with my insults. Okay, good. No, I can do this, I'm pretty sure. What do we usually do? And I have a number of recipes there. And I don't read them all. And my favorites are we appoint a committee to study the horse. Or even better, we arrange a visit to other countries to see how they ride dead horses. And what I'm afraid of is that we rewrite the expected performance requirements for all horses. You know, if I want to try something new, I have to fulfill the dose limits from this tremendously non-well-funded clinical practice. This is my personal, it's all personal, but Brandon, you probably regret that you invited me. Anyhow, for instance, let's go away with this one condition. What could it give us if the target dose which we want to deliver does not have to be homogeneous to a target? And there's a very interesting paper from Sloan Kettering this year. Mice, no patients. But anyhow, it's like this. You irradiate just 50% of the volume of the tumor. And this is done here in mice. You see there is the growth curve. The black one is non-irradiated. Yeah, the tumor is growing. And then for various dose levels, I think 10 gray, 15 gray, and 20 gray, you see for mice without an immune system, you see differences there. 50% is really doing worse than 100%. Now we switch the immune system on, and all of a sudden, you don't see the difference anymore. The 50% irradiation of the tumor is as good within the error bars as the 100% irradiation of the volume. I believe that most of our patients have an immune system. The question is, how important is it? So I think this at least can cast some shadow of a doubt that this 100% and within this 95% and 107% of prescribed dose is not the final answer of what we are doing in the clinic. And my general theme is now a little bit, we have to change the focus from physics and dose anatomy. I don't think, I admit it, on the last millimeters with tumor tracking and so on. But now we have to change the focus and look at biology and radiation response. This is where we could gain the most for our patients. And